Ever felt like you're just drowning in information, wishing you had a digital assistant that could not only understand what you want, but actually, do all the heavy lifting?
Oh, absolutely. Like a virtual colleague, right?
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't just find info, but executes those tricky multi-step tasks across different apps and sites.
That's exactly the dream.
Well, that dream might be getting closer to reality.
Which brings us to today's deep dive, ChatGPT Agent. This new tool, OpenAI rolled it out in July 2025, and it sounds like a pretty huge leap forward for autonomous AI.
It really does.
Yeah.
Think of it as blending their most powerful language models with, well, a fully kitted out cloud computer, ready to get things done.
Okay.
So our mission for you today is to unpack what this ChatGPT agent actually is. How does it work, under the hood?
And crucially, what can it do for you day to day?
Exactly. We'll look at where it came from, surprisingly deep roots there, and tackle the big stuff: privacy, security, its current limitations.
Basically, give you the shortcut to getting up to speed on this straight from the source material and find out why it feels like such a game changer.
Yeah, and the fascinating part, it's designed not just to talk, but to think, to choose the right tool for the job.
To actually click where you'd click on a website.
Right, and even cite its sources, screenshots, and all while you're still the supervisor, watching over its shoulder.
This isn't just basic Q&A then. It's about handling whole projects, spanning multiple websites, files, interacting with APIs.
That's the idea. It really hints at maybe a new era of personal computing.
So let's get specific. What is this virtual colleague at its core?
Okay, so ChatGPT Agent basically combines OpenAI's latest language core, that's O3, their top-tier AI brain, with a pretty robust cloud computer.
And this cloud computer isn't just a browser, right?
Not at all. It's got a whole toolkit. A text browser for scraping info super fast, a visual browser for websites that need you to, see and click things dynamically.
Like logins or complex forms.
Exactly. Plus, a full Linux terminal for coding and file stuff, and even an image generator. It's a complete integrated package.
Okay, so the tech is complex, but how does it feel to use? Is it complicated?
Surprisingly simple, actually. You just type a task in plain English, like you normally would.
Okay.
But then, the agent starts working. It thinks, chooses the best tool from its deck, and then performs the actions, clicking buttons, writing code, whatever's needed.
And if it gets stuck?
It pauses and asks you for clarification. And here's a really key thing you mentioned. It cites everything. Every source, every screenshot.
Which is huge. No more wondering where did it get that number from.
Precisely. Builds that trust. And there's a great analogy in the source material.
Oh, yeah.
Think of it like that super helpful friend who offers to book your flights, digs up all the complicated refund policies from different airlines, drafts a whole trip spreadsheet.
And keeps texting you screenshots like, is this okay?
Exactly. That's the feel. It's proactive, autonomous help, not just passively answering questions. A real shift.
And the best part, you said, is that you're still in charge.
Absolutely. You remain the supervisor. You can interrupt at any time, edit its plan.
Jump in if needed.
Right. And importantly, for peace of mind, it uses the same privacy toggles as regular ChatGPT. Your data stays yours.
Good to know. And this isn't science fiction. It's out now.
Yep. Available since July 2025 for all the paid ChatGPT tiers. So Plus, Pro, Team, Enterprise. Not the free plan, though.
And early word on cost. Is it going to burn through credits like crazy?
Actually, early reports suggest the opposite. Credit usage seems to run far below the monthly ceiling for typical knowledge workers, which is great news.
Very encouraging. Okay, so let's unpack the why now question. The idea of an AI agent, something autonomous, isn't brand new. People have talked about this since, what, the 50s?
Since the Dartmouth workshop back in 1956, yeah. The James been around a long time.
So why did it take until now for something like ChatGPT Agent to become, well, real? What changed?
OpenAI pinpointed two big roadblocks that kept earlier agents from really taking off, and they focused on solving those.
Okay, what were they?
First was fragmented tooling. Earlier attempts basically needed users to stitch together separate tools for browsing, coding, file handling. It was clunky.
A configuration nightmare, I imagine.
Exactly. Lots of things could go wrong. It just wasn't smooth.
Okay, that's one. What was the second hurdle?
The second was slow, brittle reasoning. Trying to make a big language model analyze every single step, observe, think, act over and over was just incredibly slow and expensive.
And prone to stalling.
Yeah, it would often just get stuck, not practical for real-world tasks.
So how did OpenAI overcome these? The sources mention a kind of step-by-step development.
They did. It was phased. First, back in January 2025, they had something called Operator. It could click buttons, but apparently struggled to, like, read long articles properly.
Okay, so clicking, but not much reading comprehension.
Then, just a couple of weeks later, Deep Research arrived. Great at reading fast, digesting info, but couldn't really interact with dynamic stuff like login pages.
So one could click, the other could read, but neither could do both well.
Pretty much. Which led to the key moment in March. The engineering teams, who'd have been working separately on these, merged.
Ah, combining forces.
Right. Their new goal, train one model that could intelligently choose the right tool for the specific step instead of just trying everything. A much smarter approach.
The more integrated.
Exactly. And by mid-July, this merged version passed all their internal tests, aced a public demo, and boom, ChatGPT Agent was launched.
And Sam Altman had that quote right, captures it perfectly.
Yeah, he said, we needed an assistant that can think, switch to a text, crawl for speed, jump into a GUI when the page gets tricky, then pivot to a terminal for code. We finally have it.
That's a very confident statement, basically saying they've cracked general-purpose digital help.
It's bold. And their rollout strategy reflects that confidence, but also caution. They use that iterative deployment approach.
Meaning it goes to pro users first?
Pro first, then plus, team, enterprise, and eventually a slightly trimmed version for education users. Lets them get feedback, fix bugs, scale carefully.
Makes sense for something this potentially disruptive. Okay, so we know what it is, roughly how it came about. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. What's the secret sauce? How does it actually do all this stuff? What are the core components?
Right, under the hood. The sources break it down into 4 key architectural layers that work together.
Yeah.
First up is the language reasoner.
The brain.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It reads your prompt, figures out a plan, explains what it did. This is powered by that O3 model, fine-tuned with reinforcement learning, especially good with code because of its codex training.
Okay, the reasoner. What else?
Second, the memory vault. Think of this as its long-term and short-term memory combined. It stores facts you tell it, documents it's read, results from tools it used.
Like a super organized scratch pad and filing cabinet.
Exactly. Using clever tech like vector stores and indexes so it can find relevant info fast.
Got it. Reasoner. Memory. What are the tools themselves called?
That's layer 3. The tool deck.
Yeah.
This is the actual set of instruments it uses. The text browser, the visual browser.
The Linux terminal, image generator.
Right. And a JSON API caller, which lets it talk to other online services directly.
Okay, so brain, memory, tools. What holds it all together?
That's the 4th layer. The controller loop. This is the orchestrator, managing those observe think act cycles we talked about. It uses another reinforcement learning policy, basically. It's been trained to make smart decisions about which tool to use when.
Like a conductor leading the orchestra.
Perfect analogy. It ensures everything works efficiently together.
It sounds incredibly complex, but you also mentioned it's surprisingly efficient, credit-wise. How do they train it to be smart and frugal?
Some really clever training techniques there. They use something called curriculum learning, giving it progressively harder tasks, like starting simple and building up.
Learning step by step.
And reward shaping. It didn't just get points for getting the right answer, but also for being concise and picking the smartest tool, not necessarily the most obvious one.
So rewarding efficiency itself.
Exactly. And they threw over 50,000 synthetic missions at its simulated tasks, designed to teach it things like don't just click randomly, resist rash clicks, learn from coding errors, and figure out when a simple text scrape is faster than firing up the visual browser.
Wow, 50,000 practice runs. And that led to specific efficiency hacks.
It did. Things like lazy browser launch. The visual graphical browser only starts up if the web page needs it, like for JavaScript stuff. Saves a lot of resources.
Smart. What else?
Streaming diff prompts. When using the terminal, instead of sending the entire command history back to the AI model each time, it just sends the changes, the diffs. Much less data transfer.
Like sending only the new lines of code.
Precisely. And site-first mode is brilliant. If the agent is really confident about a fact it found, it takes the screenshot first, then writes the explanation. Saves processing time or tokens.
These aren't just minor tweaks. They sound fundamental to making this usable.
They really are. It's about making powerful AI economically viable for everyday tasks. That's why, as the source notes, a single pro credit can potentially cover an 8-minute workflow. It makes it practical.
Okay, practicality leads us straight to pricing, access. How does that credit system actually work? Because 1 credit per workflow sounds good, but what does that mean in dollars and cents.
Right, the cost. So the key is you only spend credits when the agent is actively working on your task. If it pauses to ask you a question, confirm this booking. Answering doesn't cost you anything.
Good to know. So the plans.
The Pro plan is USD 20 a month, gets you 400 credits. They estimate that translates to somewhere between, say, 26 and 100 hours of agent work, depending on complexity.
That's a pretty wide range.
It is. Simpler tasks use fewer credits. The Plus plan is USD 10 for 40 credits, so maybe 2.5 to 10 hours. Team plan is USD 25 per user, 30 pooled credits. Enterprise is negotiated and eDo is still pending.
And what about those tool minutes you mentioned? A separate cost.
Sort of. It's a second meter, coming in August. It's specifically for really heavy-duty stuff, compiling large code bases in the terminal, generating big, complex images.
So it protects average users from the cost of someone doing massive computations.
Exactly. It separates out those high-intensity remote compute costs, keeps it fairer for lighter users.
Makes sense. And firing it up, is it a complicated install?
Nope. Super easy. Open a chat, click Tools, then Agent. Or just type Agent in the chat box.
And the chat header changes.
Yeah, it'll show Agent with a little green dot. Ready to go. Seamless integration is the goal.
Okay. Who gets it now, and are there places it doesn't work?
Pro users have it immediately. It's rolling out to Plus and Team users literally as we speak over the next few days. Big caveat, though, currently not available in the European Economic Area or Switzerland.
Important detail for our international listeners. Okay, let's talk about using it effectively. How specific do my prompts need to be? Can I just wing it?
You can, but you'll get much better results with specific, detailed prompts. Think of it like briefing a very capable but very literal assistant.
Garbage in, garbage out. But maybe more like vague instructions in, meandering results out.
Something like that. Clear steps, clear goals lead to accurate completion of those multi-step tasks. Less guesswork for the agent.
And while it's running, say I see it going off track or I change my mind, what control do I have?
You have quite a bit. It narrates its steps live, so you see what it's doing. You can hit pause anytime.
Okay.
You can modify the instructions while it's working. Or, crucially, you can click Take Over Browser.
Ah, so I can jump in and do something manually if needed.
Exactly. Like solving a CAPTCHA puzzle it can't handle. Or entering a password on a site you don't want it touching.
And for really critical things like buying stuff or sending emails.
It pauses automatically. Before any irreversible action like placing an order or hitting send on an email, it stops and asks for your explicit go ahead.
That's a vital safety net. Really crucial.
Absolutely. That human confirmation step is key.
What about memory? Does it learn about me over time? If I use it a few times, does it remember my preferences?
Yes, it does have short-term memory within a session. It can recall context like your location, maybe preferences you mentioned earlier.
So after a few runs.
Exactly. After 3 or 4 interactions, you might find your prompts can be shorter because it remembers your city, maybe your clothing size if you were shopping, your time zone. It adapts.
Getting more personalized as you go. That's usable.
Definitely. Now, thinking about where this fits in, ChatGPT Agent isn't the only attempt at this, right? AutoGPT made a huge splash early in 2024.
Yeah, AutoGPT. So much hype around that. It felt like the future for about 5 minutes, but then it kind of fizzled. What were the problems it ran into?
It really did capture the imagination. But yeah, it hit some practical walls. The 5 big ones were really complex setup involving different tools. It was super expensive in terms of API calls or tokens.
I remember hearing that. Costly experiments.
Right. It also had issues with hallucinations, just making stuff up, big security concerns, letting AI run wild on your system, and no easy way for users to track what it was doing or trust it.
So how does ChatGPT Agent tackle those specific problems?
Pretty directly, actually. The complex setup. Agent packages its tools in a remote, secure virtual machine. Done.
Okay, contained.
The cost. They optimize those processing loops, use those efficiency hacks we talked about, much leaner on token usage.
Tackling the expense.
Hallucinations. It provides those citation screenshots. You see where it got the info.
Yeah.
Builds transparency.
Verifiability, good.
Security. It uses enforced opt-in connectors. You decide what services it can access. And the remote VM adds a layer of protection.
User control.
And finally, trust. It has that clear activity feed showing you step-by-step what it's doing, plus the confirmation prompts.
So it feels like a much more polished, thought-through, maybe enterprise-ready approach.
That's the impression. Compared to AutoGPT or even other interesting projects like CrewAI, Manus, CoreWeave, which tend to be more for developers of the world, Agent feels like a sauce product. supported, refined.
Like moving from a cool tech demo to an actual tool you can rely on.
Exactly. Which brings us to that really striking comment from Sam Altman during the launch livestream on July 17th.
Oh, right, the AGI moment statement. That definitely raised eyebrows.
It did. He said, "I think this is the nearest we have come to a real AGI moment on a consumer screen."
Hmm.
And then the horizon where technology meets the singularity is no longer science fiction. It is a product roadmap.
Wow. That's putting it out there, connecting a current product directly to the path towards artificial general intelligence and even the singularity.
It's a huge statement.
Yeah.
And he linked it to this idea of coevolution.
How so?
He added, society and the technology will co-evolve. We need contact with reality before the singularity so we can correct course.
So the idea is we need to use these powerful tools now, interact with them, see how they work in the real world.
So we can learn how to manage them safely and guide their development before they become potentially superintelligent. It shows his conviction that these tool-using AIs are the bridge, and getting them into users' hands is part of the safety research.
Interesting. So using agent isn't just about productivity, it's potentially about participating in that co-evolution, that safety feedback loop.
Well, his perspective, yes. If he's right, the immediate impact could just be, a massive boost in what individuals can accomplish digitally, freeing up time from routine tasks.
Taking the drudgery out of digital work.
Potentially, yeah. But with great power comes the need for careful navigation. Security, privacy limitations, we have to talk about those.
Absolutely. Let's start with security. The sources flag prompt injection as a major risk. What exactly is that?
Okay, prompt injection. Imagine an attacker hides malicious instructions inside some content. The agent might look at like a comment on a blog post or text on a web page it's scraping.
So the instructions get hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. The agent reads the page, accidentally absorbs those hidden instructions, and might then try to carry them out. Could be anything from sending spam to trying to access sensitive data.
That sounds tricky to defend against. What's OpenAI doing?
They have layers of defense. First, there's a filter constantly watching what the agent does. If it tries to take an action based on potentially injected instructions, especially involving sensitive things like seeing password reset on screen, it should pause and ask you for confirmation.
The safety check.
Yeah. Second, the text browser uses what they call a defanged crawl. It sanitizes the raw HTML, strips out potentially harmful scripts and weird code tokens before the AI even sees it.
Cleaning the input.
Right. And third, there are rate limits and scope limits. Each agent session only has access to the specific website cookies you've allowed, and only for that session. It limits the potential blast radius if something goes wrong.
Okay, those sound like sensible precautions. But are there known ways around these or things we should be doing as users?
It's an ongoing battle, like any cybersecurity issue. Prompt injection is still a big research area. So user vigilance is key.
Like what?
Grant the minimum permissions necessary when you connect tools. Don't give it access to everything if it only needs one thing.
Least privilege principle.
Exactly. If you're dealing with really sensitive sites like online banking, let the agent navigate there, maybe fill some basic info, but then use that take over browser button before you type your actual password. Do the critical bit yourself.
Makes sense. Don't let it handle credentials directly.
Probably wise. Also, maybe clean your browser cookies after sensitive sessions. Just good hygiene. And if the agent ever starts acting weird, looping strangely, doing things that don't make sense, interrupt it immediately. Don't just let it run.
Got it. Smart caution. Now, what about limitations? No tool is perfect. What are the rough edges here? Where does agent still struggle?
Good question. Understanding the limits saves frustration. First, task suitability. It excels at structured knowledge work.
Like research, data analysis, drafting standard documents, coding.
Precisely. Logical, step-by-step tasks with clear goals. Where it stumbles is anything requiring deep emotional nuance or, highly subjective judgment.
So don't ask it to write a heartfelt apology or critique abstract art.
Probably not your best bet. The source puts it well. Use it as a researcher or an executive assistant, not a poet or therapist. It's logical, not empathetic.
Okay, clear distinction. What else?
Beware the over-reliance trap. Because it feels so capable, it's tempting to just hand over everything and walk away.
Like, okay, agent, handle all my client emails.
Exactly. Resist that urge.
Yeah.
Never let it do things like mass emailing clients or executing live financial trades without a final human review and click.
The two-person role they mentioned.
That's the one. Agent prepares, you approve. It's about augmenting your abilities, not completely abdicating responsibility.
Good rule to live by. What about ambiguous instructions?
Yes. Remember, clear prompts equal clear results.
So instead of make my website better,
Be specific. Audit broken internal links on binaryversii.com. Find the page they're on, their anchor text, and output a CSV. The more detail, the better the outcome. Vague prompts lead to wasted time and credits.
makes sense. Any other walls it hits?
Cap TCAs.
Right.
Those prove your human puzzles. It can handle some basic ones, apparently, but the advanced ones, like Google's Recap TCHA, they'll stop it cold.
So what do you do then?
That's where Takeover Browser comes in handy again. You jump in, solve the puzzle, then hand control back to the agent. A reminder that full automation isn't quite here yet.
Okay, and resource limits, those tool minutes.
Right, we mentioned those. If you're doing really heavy lifting, compiling huge software projects, rendering massive images, scraping thousands and thousands of pages, you can burn through your tool minutes allocation.
So monitor that.
Yeah. If you see it spending a lot of time in the terminal or using high GPU, be mindful. Break big projects into smaller chunks or consider upgrading your plan if you consistently hit those limits.
Got it. And finally, it's memory.
Memory isn't magic. It remembers facts you explicitly tell it, shoe size, preferred airline, project paths.
But it won't guess things.
Exactly. It won't infer details you haven't mentioned. It's not psychic. So it's worth occasionally reviewing the facts it has stored about you in the settings. Make sure they're accurate and up to date.
So treat it like a very capable but literal junior partner.
That's a great way to put it. A trusted junior partner who lives in the cloud and learns from what you clearly tell it.
What an incredible overview. It really feels like we've gone from language models being novelties to, well, almost necessities in just a couple of years.
It's been rapid.
And ChatGPT Agent definitely feels like phase 2, as the source calls it, outcome-driven autonomy. A tireless helper for accountants, teachers, marketers, students, anyone who deals with the digital tasks.
Learning your workflows, citing its sources,
Yeah.
it could free up a lot of human potential.
Sam Altman's final words on that live stream were pretty telling, weren't they? An invitation, almost.
Yeah, he said, "We hope you will love it. Use all the caution we described, then push the boundaries and tell us what breaks.
Yeah.
Only by doing that together will we reach safe AGI."
It really underscores that coevolution idea. Use it, test it, provide feedback, help shape it responsibly.
Exactly.
So OpenAI calls this a feel the AGI moment. Whether it turns out to be just hype or truly the dawn of something transformative, well, kind of depends on us, doesn't it?
On how we, the users, actually put this tool to work.
So the encouragement is start small, maybe automate one annoying task, iterate, see what happens, watch that to-do list shrink.
It feels like the next era of personal computing just got a serious upgrade. A keyboard, a mouse, and now a little bit of digital imagination helping out.
The question is, what will you build with it?